Okay, I want you to forget everything you think you know about massive construction projects. Because what we're about to explore is, well, it's one of the most ambitious engineering efforts in human history. By 2030, China is aiming to complete a series of renewable energy projects on a scale the world has literally never seen before. So let's get right into it. When you think of China's Great Wall, you picture that incredible stone structure winding across mountains, right? Well, the country is building a new one, but this one isn't made of stone. It's made of silicon and steel and concrete. It's a great wall of solar panels, gigantic wind turbines, and colossal dams, all designed to power the nation's future. So just to help you wrap your head around the sheer scale we're talking about, let's just start with one single example. Out in the Xinjiang region, China has built a solar park so vast that the panels themselves cover an area larger than all of New York City. And what's really crazy, this isn't even their biggest project. So first up, China's new Great Wall. We're going to take a look at how these absolutely massive solar projects are transforming some of the country's most empty, desolate landscapes into incredible engines of green power. Okay, check this out. The project in the Kabuki Desert. This isn't just a park. It's basically a 400-kilometer-long river of solar panels. By 2027, it's expected to generate 8,000 megawatts. That's enough to supply a staggering 180 times billion kilowatt hours of electricity to Beijing every single year. Just try to imagine that. An entire capital city powered by a desert. But here's where it gets really interesting. There's this completely unexpected, fascinating side effect happening. These massive solar arrays are actually changing the local environment. The panels block the wind, so there's less sand erosion. They provide shade, which means the soil holds more moisture. And the result? Grass and other plants are actually starting to grow there, creating an entirely new ecosystem right in the middle of the desert. But this new Great Wall isn't just built on sunshine. Not at all. So now let's tour the other mega projects. The other two pillars of this whole strategy, we're talking wind and hydropower, are just as mind-boggling in their ambition. First, let's talk about wind. A single one of China's new offshore turbines can generate 26 megawatts of power. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that one turbine can power over 100,000 homes, and they are building entire farms of these giants out in the ocean. Now for the hydropower. A lot of us have heard of the famous Three Gorges Dam, right? It was a world record holder when it was finished. Its capacity is a massive 22,500 megawatts. Well, China is now planning something called the Maydog Dam. Its planned capacity? 60,000 megawatts. That is nearly 3 times the power of the Three Gorges. So how is that even possible? Well, it all comes down to basic physics, potential energy. The river they're building it on, the Yarlung Sangpo, is pretty unique. As it flows out of the Himalayas, it drops an incredible 2 kilometers in elevation over a stretch of just 50 kilometers. I mean, that creates an absolutely immense amount of potential energy, which the Maydog Dam is being designed to harness, turning that massive drop into massive amounts of electricity. Okay, so you're generating these unbelievable amounts of power in remote deserts and deep mountain canyons. The critical question then becomes, how in the world do you get that electricity to the sprawling cities and industrial centers that are hundreds or even thousands of kilometers away? Well, the first part of the answer is just sheer scale. China has already built a specialized transmission network stretching over 48,000 kilometers. To give you some context, that's longer than the entire circumference of planet Earth. The second part of the answer is raw power. You see, this isn't your standard electrical grid. This is a network that transmits electricity at over 1 million volts. That's a level of power you absolutely need if you want to move energy across vast distances with maximum efficiency. And this all relies on one key piece of technology, the ultra-high voltage or UHV grid. Think of it as a super efficient electrical highway. You know how you lose less water from a fire hose than a leaky garden hose? It's kind of like that. UHV lines lose way less energy over long distances. This is the technological nervous system that lets China build power plants in the most remote locations and deliver that energy exactly where it's needed. So we've covered the what and the how, but that leaves the most important question of all. Why? Why undertake this multi-trillion-dollar, multi-decade project? And the answer goes way beyond just keeping the lights on. So, what's the real driver here? I mean, what's the ultimate goal for this unprecedented level of investment? Is it just about climate goals? Or is there a bigger, more strategic game being played? Well, while things like climate goals and energy independence are definitely part of the equation, the primary driver is the next technological revolution, artificial intelligence. You see, AI is incredibly energy hungry. This entire network, the dams, the solar farms, the supergrid, is being built to power the massive data centers that an AI-driven future is going to demand. This is an energy grid built for a whole new era of technology. And this is all happening on a pretty clear timeline. Construction on that massive Mudog Dam, that's slated to begin in 2025. These major renewable projects we've been talking about are targeted for completion by 2030. And it all feeds into China's broader goal of becoming completely carbon neutral by the year 2060. Ultimately, this new Great Wall of Power is about so much more than just electricity. It's a foundational investment in the future. The thinking behind it is simple. The nations that rise are the ones that master disruptive new technology. And in the 21st century, the most important foundation of all might not be code or silicon, but the raw power needed to run it all, which leaves a big question. Who else is building for that future on this